Good evening, everyone. Anthony, Wall Street Trader, 7:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 23rd, 2023. This isn't financial advice. This is educational. Hit the subscribe, the bell, share the video, click the thumbs up. Intraday updates on the Twitter link below in the description. Let's move forward to SingularityNet. Okay, a couple of things. We've seen a pretty big dippy-do, as we saw on the last video. We'll zoom in a little bit so you can get a better handle on what we talked about. Now, we were hitting a pennant formation, generally bullish, but you got to watch out right at the tip. You know, sometimes it goes down and spikes right up. Sometimes it goes down and kind of hangs around there. I think we're going to wind up spiking up, but this is the dollar pair. And just be known that these were the drawn lines we had last time. We hit the upper support line, not the lower support line. We didn't get as low as 1675, but we did take a nasty spill from 21 all the way down to 17 or 18. Good for a 15, 16% drop. Now, a couple of things regarding this pair. There were a couple of things that we could have seen maybe a little sooner by looking at the following. Number one, let's go into the inner strength. This is the area that really snagged us for a spill, and we kind of saw a little weakness in it on the last video we did. And sometimes that gives you a better indication of risk than the dollar version. And we saw that here. In the last video we did, we noticed that the Bitcoin pair to AGIX, or the inner strength, wasn't doing as well as Bitcoin was. It was only up around 1%. Now let's go to the inner strength. This is the inner strength right here. We were already below, starting to tank a little bit, but just a little over the green line. And we were hoping to see some support there. Well, that support was blown right through, and now we're into la-la land. The only thing I could recommend here is the following. Number one, you know, we kind of stabilized here. If you look at the dollar version, it's actually obeying the trend line or the support line pretty well. There's not much in terms of support, in terms of prior history, that shows me anything other than the more recent, over the past week and a half. And it shows me that there's a small support, small hopium support right over here that kicked in around Friday, a week and a half ago on the 13th. We're still over that. Now, if you go back to the dollar pair is still over that support line, that first level of support. We have a lower support at 16,775, and now the current support, which kicked in, was at 17,767. But we were up here on the last video. So that spill, it either makes a real move up or it makes a real move down. In this case, it made a real move down, but I'm not convinced this downward move is over yet unless we start blowing past this 16,725. So the key fact I'm trying to make here is manage your risk. Know where certain trend lines are broken. Sometimes you'll manage your risk by setting a stop loss order below the trend line so you're not getting crushed, because these moves towards the end of these pennants can be either brutal or exuberant. In this case, it was brutal. 15% is still 15%. For some of you, it might not mean much, but if you got a lot of money in it, 15% is a lot. So the key here is, continue to watch these patterns, especially where you have resistance and support crossing together. Those are places where you start to see potential risk and or potential reward. And at the same time, when you see flag formations like this, you know something's going to happen at the end. So it's important you manage your risk at these tips where you see pennants and or flags forming. So AGIX right now, clearly another one. This one we were already down here on the last video we did. We blew past this area of resistance, which at the time was around 92.77, and pulled all the way down here. So this could be an area of support. But again, if you're putting on a trade here, or if you have some, you might want to start thinking about putting in a limit, sell limit order here, or sell stop loss order right below that area, so that you don't want to get too burnt from the market. So anyway, we're at 80.50 right now. I'm calling for support. The next area of support is 75.44. Based on some of this, maybe a little higher at 7,600. Just based on a bunch of areas of support back here. But again, this is short-lived support lines, so you have to be very, very focused on it if you are in it. Now let's go over to Bitcoin, because this is the other big factor in AGIX to the dollar's performance. This, on the other hand, is doing remarkably well. We did back in the day, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, we were literally bouncing over this, bouncing off of this support line when we were down to 16,976. We have passed this area of resistance here, which we lit green. And then we have this other area of resistance that started back in November of 2021. Hit it once, hit it twice, and now we're just getting over it right here. It's hard to see, especially if you're on a phone, but we're literally right over it, as you can see right here. So it will be important for us to see another push higher, and I think the next area of resistance on Bitcoin is between 31,000 and on the lower end, 26,700. So that's pretty much it. Again, these pennants can be dangerous, but at the same time they can be rewarding. But you got to know where and when to put your sell stop orders in or stop loss orders in on a limit basis, so that when you're sleeping and this stuff starts tearing away, that you're kind of protected with the right type of order. And I'll do a video on that one day to give everyone a general view on how to do that and what that means. But, if you don't know what you're doing with this stuff, it can get dangerous. So please, pay attention, especially where things are about to start moving. A lot of times these pennants do become very, very positive. In some cases, such as in this case, this thing turned negative pretty quickly. But again, I don't know that this downward party is over, especially for a type of short seller that would be out there if they could short it. But I think that this thing does have legs. I think we could start to see some bounce up. But again, I think we have support right now on the Bitcoin to the AGIX to Bitcoin pair at 75.80. And over here, this one's been fairly behaving well, still staying over that support line. Right now, support is at 17,714. We do have resistance way up here at, let me just squish my screen down, at 30 cents. So we'll keep tracking this one. In the meantime, Bitcoin dominance is still rising. So Bitcoin clearly still dominating the market, gobbling up market share from the overall crypto market. So that's pretty much all I've got. If you guys have any other videos and or cryptos or stocks you want covered, please add them below. I have to catch up. I got a few requests that I will get to, but in the meantime, take care.